So, I mean, I guess in that case, let's just kick this off. Where do we want to start, dude, with the knee-jerk reactions? Because, like...
Well, I want to know where your vote lies for the Hart Trophy. And the nominees, as the season ends today, are Cole Caufield, Dylan Guenther, and a real dark horse that popped out of nowhere. You could have made a ton of money off this guy, Jonathan Huberdeau. Where's your vote?
I'm riding the Dylan Guenther train all the way, dude. As you and I said, no one else said this. Utah, very good at hockey, it would appear. The first 2 games here. Just lost their first game today to the Devils. Dylan Guenther scored what in their first 3 games? He scored in each of their first 3. And my God, does he look good? Logan Cooley looks good.
Dude, what a bad contract that was.
Yeah, no, terrible. What a bad idea to lock him up for what, less than $8 million? Yeah. But Dylan Guenther looks incredible. And another guy that I'm really happy for on Utah that, I mean, last year, like his first real solid full NHL year of like producing decent offense is a guy like Barrett Hayton. He also looks really good playing in that top 6 role. And I mean, that was a much maligned pick. He was obviously drafted way too high. That's not the player's fault, and had quite a slow start, but he looks really good. I mean, is he ever going to be a point per game guy? Probably not. But like the fact that he is playing a solid 2-way role, and he's chipping in some decent offense, and he's facilitating as a playmaker with those other top dogs there, like he looks great. So I'm happy for a guy like Barrett Hayton. And Utah is a very fun hockey team to watch. My God.
Fun. What are your thoughts on the jerseys?
I'm indifferent. Like, it's funny because I think it's funny because it is very much like a backyard sports logo thing that's going on. And it's like Utah hockey. It's just like, but like, it's different. Simple, but different.
Yeah.
I think they're fine. Like, at no point was I watching any of their first 2 games and thinking these fucking jerseys. Like that thought never even popped into my head. So, sure. I mean, people need to like have these crazy knee-jerk reactions to things, but I think they're fine. They look good. Like it's fine. I like the colors.
I like the colors. It's simple, but not in a bad way. I love how big the jersey numbers are too. They just pop. And it's so easy to read them. And I like with the color contrast, like at least with their dark jerseys, like having the black jersey and then having that just big number, kind of like when the Kings first came on with their shield jerseys, when they went on the, on that little stretch of cup runs. Like, I like a big, simple number that you just like, what you're looking at. It pops at you. I also just like, they're very neutral to me, right? Like you said, like it's nothing crazy. I think there's so many jerseys that are so notedly worse. And this is from teams like actually trying on their branding. Like I probably put them somewhere right around the middle of the pack in the league, and they didn't even try.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's fine. Like it.
The problem is if their jerseys next year look worse than these ones, what do you do? Also, you're going to ask the same question. Go.
If they just not keep this up, like they're not going to finish like a 750 win percent or point percentage. But like if they finish top 3, make the playoffs, and like win a play, do they change the name, or are they stuck as Utah Hockey Club? It'd be really funny if like they made the playoffs 10 years in a row, and then the first year they didn't make the playoffs, they finally changed the name. They finally got a name that's not Utah Hockey Club. But
also, like what you just said is gonna send people through their windows. Oh yeah, 10 years in a row that Utah made it to the playoffs.
All I said was it would be funny. It would be funny if they like just kept making the playoffs and making runs, and then at the first time they didn't make the playoffs, they're like, all right, I guess we'll get a name now. And they've had it in the chamber. Like, we keep making the fucking playoff. We've had this name for 8 years. Like, we just haven't been able to use. Like, we're not going to change it now. But very fun hockey team. And again, guys like Logan Cooley, Dylan Guenther, Barrett Hayton, Clayton Keller. My God, is he fucking good at hockey? Jesus Christ. They look awesome. So very happy for Utah and those fans. That barn was rocking.
So I don't know what truth there is to it, but I was listening to Ray and Dregs earlier today, and apparently Cooley and Guenther are rooming together, and they actually had their water shut off because they forgot to pay the bill.
I feel like once every year, once every 2 years, we hear stories about these like young rookies doing something like that. I forget, there was another two rookies living together like a year or two ago. It may have been on the Saturday. I can't remember. Yeah. But like they also were like, we did. Oh no, I think it was actually. Nope, never mind. I thought it was another group of Arizona, or well, formerly. I don't know, whatever.
This sucks so much for Arizona fans tans
Oh, yeah, no, it's brutal. Dick. It's brutal. I feel so bad. Like again, we've said this at the time. Like the fans weren't the problem. So yeah, this has got to be a real kick in the teeth to watch what's going on. I wonder if, like, are they fans? I feel like I'd be conflicted.
No, they're gonna basically play it that like if the team is good and if they like want to go for the ride, they have every right to. But they can absolutely jump on with any other team they want should they choose. Like they're gonna kind of wait.
Sweet spot.
I think Thanksgiving is kind of where the Arizona fans are going to pop out, be like, we've decided who we're going to follow. Like,
kind of a sweet spot, kind of like a nice, like, hey, the rightful bandwagon, like a virtuous bandwagon fan.
If I'm a true, like, I like grew up in Arizona, like was like tried to support the Coyotes for as long as I could, and this happens. I personally, the spin zone in my head is I'm absolutely cheering for Utah because I absolutely want to shove it down that douchebag Morello's throat. Like, oh, weird. Look what happens when you just care a little bit about your fucking team. Like,
I feel like I'd be in the boat of when I'm watching the games, because again, like you as a fan, you grow attached to the players or whatever.
Yeah,
I would be like the biggest fan during the game, then they win, I'm all fired up, and then 5 minutes after the game's over, I'm like, fuck. Like, oh man, I want to go to the game. Like, this is fuck them. I hate them. Like, I'd be pissed, dude. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's tough. But the other fun thing about Utah, high event hockey, a lot of high scoring games. I think they've got like 16 goals, 14 goals against. So high event hockey. Love that. Always love high event hockey. So yeah.
We got to talk, dude. How good are the Montreal Canadiens?
The best team in the league. One of the best teams in the league. Opening night, the most Toronto Maple Leaf opening night loss ever. I think they had 47 shots on net and got shut out 1-0 by Sam Montembeault, who is playing. I think he's played both of the games that he's been in. He's been incredible. Like, they're getting outshot by like ×2, and like he is out of his mind. So good for Sam Montembeault. I think that was like I don't know if it was just Montreal. If it was Montreal, I feel like in that case it'd probably be NHL wide. But like opening night shutout, the most saves, and like the last 10 minutes of the third period in that first game versus Toronto was pouring it on. Like, it was nonstop grade A's. It was basically like there was no Canadians other than Sam Montembeault on the ice. And he was like, Jesus Christ, flying around, making absurd diving saves. It was like, I just tore something in my own fucking leg, like watching him sprawl out, make these ridiculous 10-bell saves. So yeah, what are they? They're 2-1 now, yeah.
Oh, dude, speaking of Canadians, here's a knee-jerk reaction that might not even be that knee-jerk. Is Montembeault going to be Canada's goalie?
I have no idea.
It's possible.
I mean, I guess if what he's up to now, he's going off.
I'm less worried about that than his competition, but
well, yeah. Also, Lane Hutson, I think he's got 4 points in his first 3 games this year.
Not even playing on the peeper.
Yeah, I think they're all even strength, right? Yeah, they are.
Dude.
He looks like Caden Gooley looks good. Like the young guys, I mean, their top 4 of their top 5 are, it's Slavkovsky, Gooley, Hutson, and Caufield.
Well, and it's also awesome that Caufield's repping 13 for
very
hero
cool
of his, Johnny Gaudreau, and he's torching.
Yeah. He's got 4 goals. Oh, God, I need him to go for the Cy Young. 4 goals, no assists. 2 of those are game winners, only 1 on the power play. I mean, we said this about Montreal too. Like, there's going to be games where they win, and it's like the young guys that are going to be going off a little bit here and there. They're going to eventually hit a speed bump. But as much as I hate the fucking Canadiens, it's very fun watching the young players that we've tracked for a long time, like leading up to the draft. It's very fun watching them hit the NHL and pop off. So again, very happy for Lane Hutson.
What did you think of the interaction between Hutson and Brady Tkachuk?
One of the weirder things that I've seen get like a ridiculous reaction. Like, it was funny.
Oh, there were some people that are saying like, yeah, Brady Tkachuk's not cut out to be a captain. Like this is why the Senators aren't going to get over the hump. It's like, he's fucking around. Like, he's absolutely just like joking. Like, they think that he's like
objectively funny.
Like wires crossed. Like, oh, I'm so mad. I'm going to sit here and do like, no, he's fucking around.
He only did it like once too. He just went like,
yeah, he did a couple of them. He did a couple.
Well, the first few, he was like just following. And then, like the one over exaggerated one was, I thought it was funny.
Right, I enjoyed it.
I could not believe that there were people that were like, this motherfucker. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm like, that's a terrible thing that a captain does, as I sit here watching the Boston Bruins and Brad Marchand try to fight everybody today.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's not captain behavior. That's just awful. How dare he?
If there's a loser lap that I'm gonna take, if these couple of games mean everything, Flames don't suck as much as we thought they would.
3-0 now. They scored 16 goals.
I still think they suck.
Yeah, and again, when we were talking about the Flames we're literally 3 games in, so everyone just calm down. We're just fucking around. But
season's over.
If they have any kind of success whatsoever, a big reason that they were going to be able to do that was Jonathan Huberdeau finding some semblance of his old self, and he looks great, making plays, scoring goals. And Anthony Mantha decided to give a shit so far the first 3 games. His Flames debut gets the Gordie Howe hat trick. Like, looks really good. So if he can be engaged, he's a very fun player to watch. He's a pain in the ass if your team's playing against him when he's like on and feeling like remembering that he's like 6'4" and like 210 pounds, just like a premier power forward. When he remembers that and feels like showing everyone, he is a fucking handful. So he looks really good. Dustin Wolf looked good the other day too. So, I mean, good for them. And Rasmus Anderson and Mackenzie Weegar, both, they look really good in the back end this first few games here. So, good for Calgary.
Good for them. And good for the Colorado Avalanche. Can you imagine what they're going to do with frickin' MacKinnon and Hagens down the middle next year? That's going to be scary.
Colorado Avalanche, 0-2. They've scored 8 goals. They've given up 14. It would appear that goaltending the first 2 games, literally 2 games. So it's pretty crystal clear. This is a correct take, and it will be in April. The goaltending stinks. And they're just an absolute black hole in the back end. Them and Nashville too, except Nashville's just playing low event hockey. I think they've got 3 goals and like 7 against in those 2 games.
What's really funny is like it's panic button on Nashville and Colorado. No one cares that Edmonton has gotten buried at home, scored 3, 15 against, and everyone's just like, I mean, yeah, look what happened last year. I'm sitting here wondering, like, how long do I wait before I want to put my future on them?
Well, I was thinking the other day, like, who else has coached Connor McDavid when he was like 10, 12 years old that he could get hired?
No, the real move, they fire him, they bring back Woodcroft.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I mean, Connor McDavid, 3 games, only 2 assists, and he's -5. Jeff Skinner leading the way with 2 points. They looked like they've looked in all 3 games horrific. Like they have been horrible.
That is the difference from last year, though. Last year they looked good and just couldn't get a damn save. They've looked objectively bad.
Yeah, I mean, they're also not getting saves. But that being said,
I don't think it would matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Pickard, he's only started 1 of his 2 games. He's got 417 with a 778. Stuart Skinner in his 2 games with a 540 and an 805 save percentage. Dude, like, they've looked so bad. And again, 3 games in, so that's a massive sample size. So that should probably, they're probably going to go 0-8. They're going to be battling Colorado for James Higgins.
Yep. Now, not to overly nerd on you here, but Lord of the Rings, I know you're at least loosely familiar.
Heard of her.
That ring is a heavy burden, weighs on Frodo. We saw like what it did to Gollum, right?
You did.
It buried him completely, and we see Frodo with the early struggles. The Toronto Maple Leafs captain's patch is the ring. John Tavares is like crinkled up old Gollum, like barely clinging to life, and he's looking over right now at Matthews like, yeah, good luck fucking scoring, dude.
Yeah, this is still my team, motherfucker.
Like, it's not so easy to score when you're wearing that patch, huh, bud?
Yeah, dude. Let's see.
3 games, no goals, no points for Auston Matthews. Burn Toronto to the ground.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's about it. He's going to finish again. No goals this year, probably.
Tell you what, though, Domi and Nylander have looked fun.
Again, at this point, given the last 8 or so years, the hatred for Toronto is, like, for now, surpassed Montreal. It will absolutely be back with Montreal because I'm very scared about what they're going to be in a couple of years. I can't find a single thing I dislike even a little bit about William Nylander. I think he is one of my favorite players in the NHL. I love
welcome.
I absolutely love that, like, there's so many stars in Toronto who get like a little bit, well, and by a little bit of scrutiny, it's Toronto, so it's outrageous. But like that guy give a fuck meter is -700. That's the reading on it at all times. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be like at least a point per game. I put up 100 if I give a fuck, if I want to. He's doing interviews and like a beater. Like he is the best, dude. Best friends with David Pastrnak, so that's always a big plus too. Just 2 beauties.
Kind of a loser move though that he like copied Pasternak's jersey number.
Nope, love it. Don't care. Love it. Maybe love him even more. Love William Nylander.
It'd be different if he started with it. He went from 29, which is like a fun, obscure number, right? To like, oh, Pasternak's doing good. I'll wear 88.
Well, I mean, I think Lamoriello also did not allow him to change from 29. That was very much a thing where he did not let anyone have like crazy numbers. So, no, they're best friends, so I love it.
Man,
Matty Nyes, by the way,
love him. Love him. Oh, it's so fun. I am cheering for him, not for the Leafs. Him and Willie Nylander. That's it.
Yep.
And I just hope that Tanev doesn't die because that's probably what'll happen now that he's in Toronto. I said that Domi's looked good, and he has. Did he send Rutger McGroarty into early retirement?
That was bad.
I saw the play and I didn't realize who it was, and like casually learned later, like, oh fuck, that was McGroarty. Jesus Christ.
I watched that play, and when I tell you I audibly gasped, it was, I felt bad. I've just felt so bad. I mean, he was still in orbit when he hit the boards. Like, he was still in the air, had not touched the ice yet. Like, and it wasn't even like great. It was just like switching to his forehand, and McGroarty went flying into the board. Is he okay? Is he fine?
No one knows. No one knows. But we were talking
everyone's too afraid to ask. Everyone's too afraid to ask.
Jesus. What if Crosby said that? They asked him, like, so is Rutger, like, have you checked on him since? Like, we're not going to ask Rutger about that. No,
we're giving him time to process.
Giving him space.
He needs to talk to himself.
So we talked about like 88 being a cool number. Rutger McGroarty and Will Smith, I'm not okay with them wearing 2. It confuses me so much every time I see them. I'm like, oh, a defenseman stepping up. God damn it. Nope, that's not a defenseman.
Yeah, no, the forward wearing number 2 really throws me off. I wasn't surprised Will Smith was number 2 because he's been number, like, that's just his number.
Still weird.
It's very weird seeing forward. And also just being in Boston, the amount of retired numbers, every time I see another team and I'm like, oh, they're allowed to wear number 2 and 3 and 4. I'm like, oh my God, that's cool. That's going to be really cool for them. And now there's like 5 more that will get retired in the next couple of years. I'm like, they're going to run out of numbers in Boston. So every time I see those numbers, it throws me off in general. But yeah, no, forwards wearing number 2, boy, that really throws me for a loop. It's confusing as shit.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not great. The other, I guess, big thing here with like MacKinnon, we know, like, he wants to murder everyone always. He's hair triggered. I don't blame him for being every bit as pissed as he is so far. Rasmus Dahlin is physically exerting that anger out on his teammates in practice. How do we feel about this?
Fine. And I mean, there was a big thing in the summer, how he had everyone come to Sweden. They did the bit, and it was like, oh yeah, this is going to be the difference. They're going to get together as a team. And I'm like, have they never thought about doing any team bonding in the off season before? Like, was this the first time they came up with this idea?
In fairness, they looked around the city, they saw Buffalo. They're like, we're going to bond here.
Yeah.
I actually like Buffalo. Like, any Sabres fans, like, I don't know that that's where I would choose to like move and live year round, but Buffalo's a fun city. Like, I enjoy it. Good beer, good food, across the board, good people. Honestly, a Bills tailgate is definitely a bucket list item for me. I just want to see my kid at least like say his first words before I go and risk my life on something like that. But
yeah, contrary to what people probably think about me, I think I'd be too afraid. I would go, but stand in the distance and observe and just drink beers.
You're for sure the guy that's like egging people on. Like, you're like pushing me a little bit. Like, dude, go jump on that table. Just fucking do it. Pussy. You pussy.
That table's talking a lot of shit right now. I don't know if you want to put your elbow through that thing from like a second story. Like, when I don't know if you want to do that. Like,
hang on, that is probably a real scenario that happens out in that tailgate. Like, goes up like, dude, that guy, that table right there, talk shit about your wife. Like, the fucker did.
It's like
it's up on top of a van. Cuckoosh.
It's like Bill Burr talking about his dog, his psycho dog, feeding off his energy. He's like, "Are you mad at the door? Are you mad at the door?"
Oh shit.
No, the Sabres stink.
Which is too bad. They shouldn't.
Yeah, they are. It's a weird team in general. I mean, they had a real nice win the other day. Jordan Greenway scored in the one win. But it's tough. It's a tough watch right now. And we said when we did our predictions that we both had Ottawa. Oh no, we had Detroit below them. But the separation between Ottawa and Buffalo is getting more and more clear. Even though Ottawa's had a weird start to the year, the game today against LA was a 8-7 overtime win. That was insane. And hopefully Olmark's not out long term. Hopefully that's not going to be a crazy long-term injury. But Buffalo is just they're almost in a weird spot where it's like we have too many young guys who are like pretty similar and play similar positions, and it's like, oh, the balance right now is super weird. And by the way, there's like 10 more young prospects who are going to be ready to play in the NHL the next year or two. Dude. So I don't know what they're going to be looking like in the next couple of years. I could be totally off, and they might all somehow just make it work. But it is, I mean, it's a weird watch because there's so many players that should be very fun, and it's just a very weird collective.
Hot take here, a little bit of a spin zone as we transition into the Wild segment. Bill Guerin is bringing in all of these gritty bottom six guys, signing them to deals because he's just loading up ammo to fucking fling over at the Buffalo Sabres to bring in their excess of young talent. Just like we saw with that McLeod deal for Savoy. Like, what if, like, would Wild fans just immediately forgive Bill Guerin for these signings if he's like, oh yeah, I'm literally going to pawn all of them off to get the young studs out of Buffalo? If Zach Benson ended up in a Wild jersey, Bill Guerin would have like 10 years of runway. I would not.
Very realistic possibility. It feels pretty likely that's gonna happen. Yeah, that would rule. I mean, it would be great. He's just at that point, Bill Guerin's just living in 2030. Actually, I can't even say 2030. That's not that far off. God, that's fucking weird. He's living in 2040 at that point, you know?